On March 25th in South Charleston, Ohio, a tragic incident occurred. William Brock, an 81-year-old resident of that area, mistakenly believed that an Uber driver, Lolita Hall, was involved in a scam he had fallen victim to. In a moment of fear and confusion, Mr. Brock shot Lolita. Sadly, she passed away a few hours later in the hospital from gunshot wounds, and William Brock was subsequently arrested and charged with murder. How did such a tragic incident happen, and more importantly, how could he have been prevented? In this video, we're going to go into the details of this horrific incident, and we'll explain what happened, how it unfolded, and more importantly, how it could have been avoided. We will also provide tips on how you can protect yourself from becoming a victim of similar scams. The incident occurred on the morning of March 25th. William Brock received multiple calls from a scammer pretending to be the officer of the court. The scammer claimed that Brock's nephew was in jail and demanded $12,000 in bail money for his nephew. When Brock refused, the scammer threatened to kill him and his nephew. A little while later, a 61-year-old Uber driver, Lolita Hall, received a request on her Uber app to pick up a package from Brock's home. Unaware of the scam calls Brock had been receiving, she went to his home. When Hall arrived, Brock held her at gunpoint, demanding to know the identities of the people who had called him. He took her phone and refused to let her leave. Fearing for her life, Hall tried to get back in her vehicle. Brock shot her 3 times before calling 911. The dash camera in Hall's car captured portions of this terrifying incident.
Stop. Stop. Well, I'll call 911. Stop. Yeah, stop. Stop. Help. Help. I'll shoot the other way. Help. Come on, get out. Yes, I know what you're after. You're after the... Help!
When the police arrived, Brock told them,
"I'm glad to see you guys because I've been on this phone for a couple hours with this guy trying to say to me I had a nephew in jail, had a wreck in Charleston, and needed bond money."
Police body camera footage showed authorities speaking with the scammer who had called Brock.
May I ask who I'm talking to?
Yes, this is the officer speaking.
Okay, what officer?
Yes.
No, I need to know what officer, sir.
You're going to be in trouble.
Okay. Let me ask you this. The female you sent over here, you know who she is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, she's been in an accident. And this is actually an officer. It's Detective Cruz with the Clark County Sheriff's Office.
During the call, the scammer said he would meet the police in 20 minutes, but he never showed. Surprise, surprise. Lolita Hall was taken to the hospital where she later died of her gunshot wounds. 16 days later, on April 10th, William Brock was charged with murder. Police investigations revealed that Lolita was not an active threat to Brock when he first shot her. Brock pleaded not guilty and posted a $200,000 bond, after which he was released from jail. On April 15th, a grand jury indicted Brock on the murder charge. He was also charged with 2 counts of felony kidnapping, murder, and felonious assault. He's currently facing 5 charges and could face a life sentence if convicted. Uber is assisting investigators by reviewing the account that requested Hall to pick up the package from Brock's home. The police stated that the person who requested Hall's trip was either the same person who called and tried to scam William Brock or an accomplice of the scam caller. The investigation is still ongoing and the scammer remains at large. What happened to Lolita Hall and William Brock is horrifying indeed, but could it have been prevented? If the scammer had not had Brock's personal information, Brock would not have been targeted. The scammer gathered Brock's information online, leading to this tragic outcome. Brock's accessible data made him an easy target for what we call the grandparent scam. Let me explain. The grandparent scam exploits a grandparent's willingness to help their grandchildren. Scammers often pretend to be an authority figure, like a police officer or a lawyer, and they will tell the victim that their grandchildren had an incident or committed a crime and needs bail money. In William Brock's case, The scammer posed as an officer, telling him that his nephew was in jail and needed bail money. Sometimes, scammers can even pretend to be the relatives themselves. With the advancement of artificial intelligence, scammers can now clone the voice of a family member using just a short video clip or an audio clip. For example, CTV News in Montreal, Canada, recently reported a grandparent phone scam using AI. The victim was Jessica De Palma's 73-year-old mother. She received a call from a supposed officer claiming that her grandson, Milan, was arrested and needed $10,000 of bail. The officer then passed the phone to someone pretending to be Milan, who urged the grandmother to post the bail. According to Milan's grandmother, the caller sounded just like Milan and spoke both English and Italian, just like her grandson. In panic, she withdrew $10,000. Fortunately, Jessica had sent notifications on her mother's account for large withdrawals. When she noticed the withdrawal, she immediately called her mom. Jessica's mom was afraid to disclose the situation because the scammer had insisted on secrecy. Scammers typically do this to isolate victims and prevent them from tipping off family members. Jessica Milan, the son who was supposedly in trouble, eventually called and convinced the grandmother that she was talking to an imposter. Jessica's quick action prevented her mother from losing $10,000. The police are now investigating the case, and they do suspect that the caller used AI to duplicate Milan's voice. Cybercriminals work hard to gather as much data as possible on their potential targets. This can include data from social media, public records, or even breach data online. They are especially eager to capture personal information like names, addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, dates of birth. These pieces of information are used to search and collect even more data, such as work details or family relationships. The more information they have on a target, the more convincing the scam. According to the Federal Communications Commission, scammers get consumer data by searching online, scrolling through social media profiles, or buying breached or stolen data from the dark web. The Consumer Federation of America adds that scammers also collect data through marketing lists, telephone lists, and email hacking. A scammer's data collection process may look something like this. First, the scammer buys data from a dark web, targeting people affected by data breaches, like the recent AT&T breach, where millions of names, addresses, social security numbers, and credit card numbers were stolen. The scammer then uses online hacking tools, possibly including ChatGPT, to verify that the data harvested from the dark web is correct. Next, the scammer visits social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to gather more information such as friends, family relationships, photos, recent locations, audio for voice cloning, and just personal interest and any other information relevant to their scam. This makes their scam message more personalized and convincing. If social media isn't enough, the scammer may research through people search websites like People Finders, Spokeo, or Yellow Pages. These sites help verify addresses, contact numbers, email addresses, and the number and relationship of relatives. The scammer then narrows down lists of targets based on the completeness and credibility of the data. The scammers choose targets that appear most vulnerable and likely to fall for the scam based on the profile built from the collected data. Once the target is finalized, the scammer initiates the scam, which could range from financial fraud to identity theft, using tailored approaches to exploit specific vulnerabilities and trust. There are no official statements yet on how the scammer got William Brock's contact details, or what information they had on him. However, it's likely that the scam caller followed similar methods to target Brock. According to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, there were 650 reports of potential grandparent scam and losses totaling $13 million from January 2020 to June 2021. During the same period, 90 victims had money picked up from their homes, similar to what Brock's scam caller attempted to do with the Uber driver Lolita Hall. In 2022, data from the FTC showed that nearly 500,000 American seniors were victims of fraud, with an average loss ranging from $1,000 to $1,750. Last year alone, the FTC annual data book revealed that American seniors lost about $1.9 billion to fraud, and that's just senior citizens. Overall, the FTC reports that there were 2.6 million fraud reports in 2023 with a total of $10 billion. This is an increase of 2.5 million fraud reports and $9 billion in total losses in 2022. I'll post the link to the FTC's fraud report below so that you can check it out yourself. With the adoption of AI, it's expected that cybercrimes, fraud, scams, much like the Grandparent Scam, will become more prevalent in the future. The bottom line is that what happened to Will and Brock is just one of many possible consequences of having your personal information exposed online. If Brock's data hadn't been accessed by scammers, this incident and this tragic loss of Lolita Hall would not have happened. It's not just the Grandparent Scam. Many other types of scams are less likely to succeed if cybercriminals cannot access your personal information. Since we know scams and fraud will only increase in the future, here are 3 steps you can take today to help protect yourself and your family. First, keep your data private. Don't be quick to share your information online, whether it's your name, your date of birth, email addresses, or physical address. Don't give scammers the opportunity to abuse your personal information. For those of us who have grown up with the internet, our personal information is already online. So the best thing you can do is just remove that information from the internet. You can go to www.mydataremoval.com and run a free scan to see where your personal information shows up online. You can also use the free opt-out guide to remove your personal information gathered by data brokers from data breaches and public sources. Just follow the steps and refer to the list of data brokers and people search sites that may have your data. The link to this will be below. If you want to do it faster without spending 40 to 100 hours removing your data from more than 300 data broker sites, we can automate that data process for you. As the Consumer Federation of America advises, don't send money unless you are sure it's a real person you know. When you receive a suspicious call or email from someone claiming to be your relative, friend, or colleague, check first if it's legitimate by directly contacting the person. It's okay to hang up on the caller and call your friend directly. Lastly, try the Fraud Watch Network Scam Tracking Map from AARP. This tool tracks fraud and scam cases based on geography. Here's how to use it. Go to the tool site. The link will be below in the description. Enter a scam keyword related to the scam, like government. Enter a zip code such as 45368 for in this case, South Charleston, Ohio. Pick a radius to set the scope of the report, for example, let's say 200 miles. Set the date range for the scam, maybe April 25th last year to April 25th of this year. Pick the scam type and contact method used for the scam. Select all for both. Choose a report type and user submitted report and law enforcement alerts. Let's try user submitted reports. And then click search. After a few seconds, you'll see the scam reports. You can view the details about the scam type and how the scammer contacted the victim, the amount lost, and any additional information that they have available. For example, a report on government imposter scams from September 3rd, 2023 describes a caller pretending to be the CIA director who demanded that the victims pay their taxes or face arrest. By using this tool, you'll be more aware of the types of scams happening in your area. So take some time and try this tool, and you can stay informed about scams in your community. What happened to Lolita Hall and William Brock was truly tragic and heartbreaking. And on behalf of My Data Removal, we extend our deepest condolences to Hall's family. We are committed to preventing more cases like this by ensuring that your information is safe from scammers and cyber criminals online. This is My Data Removal. We help you safeguard your data online. See you in the next video.